Hi all and welcome back. In this session, we will be delving into the fascinating world of SQL Date Function. Whether you are a SQL beginner or an experienced developer, understanding date function is crucial for working with date and time data effectively. So let's get started. The dataset which we are going to work on is a transaction dataset. In this dataset, you can find out all the information regarding the customer, that what product they have purchased, on what date they have purchased, and what has been the ship date, and all the other attributes associated with the transaction they have made on a particular date. So you can see this is the dataset which we are going to work on. Let's kick things off with the GETDATE function. Select distinct customer ID, order underscore date, ship underscore date. Now I'm going to call the GETDATE function as today's date, and let me call my table dbo dot orders, and now let's run the code. And you can see here we have got today's date, which is 2023 November 20th. The getDate function retrieves the current system date and time. It is perfect for time stamping your records or performing real-time calculations. The next function which we are going to discuss is the DATEPART function. The DATEPART function allows you to extract specific components from a date. Let's see how we can do that. Let me copy and paste this piece of code. And here I'm going to call DATEPART year, ship date, ship underscore date as current year. I would like to have month to for each and every ship date as ship year, ship month, and let's now run the code. And you can see this has been the ship date for customer ID AA101315. The ship date is 2018-04-05, and you can see here we have successfully retrieved the shipment year, which is 2018, as well as the shipment month. So with DATEPART, you can break down dates into individual parts like year, month, and date, and so on, making it easier to analyze your data. Moving on to the DATEADD function. Let me write the code first and then we will discuss about it. Let me copy and paste this piece of code. And here I'm going to call DATEADD function, and I want to add number of days, 7 number of days into my ship date, and I'll call it as next 7 days. Let me have month 2, and I'm calling 3 months from my ship date, next 3 months. Let me show you one more example. Day -7 from my ship date as 7 days ago. Ship underscore date, and ship underscore date. Now let's run the code. So you can see here for customer ID AA10315, we have a shipment date of 2018-0405. And you can see here we have added 7 more days. So the next 7 days should be 12. 5 plus 7 equal to 12. We also added 3 more months to the ship date. So you can see here the month is 4. For a variable, the new variable which we have created next 3 months, the month here is 7. So we have successfully added 3 more months. Whereas in the last variable which we have created 7 days ago, we have subtracted minus 7. And you can see here, if you will subtract minus 7 from 2018-0405, it is going to be 2018-0329, 29th of March 2018. So DATEADD is your go-to tool for adding or subtracting time intervals to a given date or time. It's excellent for scenarios where you need to project into the future or look back in time. So this is going to be very handy function to add or to subtract time intervals from a given date or time. Now let's talk about the DATEDIFF function. DATEDIFF function is mainly used to calculate the time difference between the two dates. Let's do an example and see how we can calculate number of days between two dates as well as number of months between 2 days. Let me create a CTE table called ship date as select customer ID min ship underscore date as min underscore ship date from dbo.orders group by customer ID and we are going to use this CTE table to use DATEDIFF function. Select, let me call ship date customer ID min underscore ship date, and now let me call DATEDIFF function. Here I want to calculate number of days between min ship date and today's date, and we can get today's date by using GETDATE function, and we will call this new variable as days between DATEDIFF, and this time we want to calculate number of months between our first ship date and today's date, and let's call it as months between. Now let's run the code. And you can see here we have successfully calculated number of days between the current date as well as the first ship date, which we have calculated for each and every customer, and we have created a new variable called min underscore ship date. And you can also see here by using the DATEDIFF function, we have not only calculated the number of days between but also months between. If you want to calculate number of months, you can also do that. So DATEDIFF is incredibly useful for calculating the time difference between the two dates, whether it is in months, days, or any other time unit. It is a common tool for calculating customer or order lifetimes. Now let's discuss about convert and format function. Convert is a great for converting date and time values between different formats, while format lets you present date values as a string using specific patterns. Let's do an example. Select distinct customer ID ship_date from dbo.orders, and let me use convert function here, and since it will convert into a varchar data type, that is why we are mentioning here, and let me pass here ship_date 101. So basically here ship_date, which has date and time stamp both, it will extract date and it will convert into a varchar data type. Short date convert varchar, and let me pass here get date. So, and let me mention here 108. So what it will do here, it will take today's date, and today's date is going to have the current time also, which is 12:36 AM. So convert function here, what it will do, it will extract the time only and it will convert into a string data type. And let me write here short time. And now let me use format function, and here I will pass ship_date, and let's say you are based out of India. So there people read the date as date, month and year. So I will pass DD months and year, formatted ship date. Now let's run the code, and you can see here by using convert function we have converted date time field only as date field, whereas by using convert function and passing 108 we have extracted the current time, and you can see here we have also converted the ship_date into a particular format, which is date first, day first, then month and then year. And this is how one can effectively use convert and format function in SQL. Now let's explore DATEFROMPARTS function. This function comes in handy when you want to create a date from individual year, month and a day component. Let's see that. Select, let me call DATEFROMPARTS and 2024 01 and 01 as Happy New Year. And this is how one can use DATEFROMPART function in SQL. Finally, we have the DATENAME function. DATENAME function is quite similar to DATEPART function, but it returns the name of the date component like the month name instead of the month number. Let's see how we can use the DATENAME function in SQL. Let me copy the code of DATEPART function. DATENAME, and let's run the code. And you can see here for month you are getting April. Year it is same 2018, but for month you are getting name instead of number. That is the main difference between DATEPART and DATENAME function. With these SQL date functions at your disposal, you can perform a wide range of date related operations, from basic date extraction to complex calculation. So whether you are managing orders, tracking customer lifetime, or just formatting dates for reports, these functions are your best friends. Thanks for joining us today, and stay tuned for more tutorials. Thank you so much and have a great day.